essential prehab and how to avoid weightlifting injuries so you can keep making progress. Let me tell you that prehabilitation or prehab is one of the most underrated aspects when it comes to training. And if you're one of these guys that think you're invincible, you can be on beast mode 24/7, always going hard, never focusing on recovery, and then you're never going to get hurt, think again. You're the same guy that's going to get sidelined for weeks, months, or even years and take multiple steps backwards in your training program. But on the flip side of this, you don't want to be the, super fitness geek that is, some weak, skinny trainer who's never actually lifting any heavy weights. I mean, people can prehab themselves to death. I see people come in and do an hour of prehab before they start the workout. This is not efficient either, guys. We're talking about business, we're talking about life, we're talking about integrating all of our life goals, making money, becoming successful, and becoming incredibly fit. So if you want to do all of these things, you don't have hours to spend on prehab. That's just not a luxury that we're afforded. So get in, get out, and make it as efficient as possible. So what I like to do is start out with soft tissue work, whether it's some basic foam rolling, using a thigh roller. TPtherapy.com provides a lot of great tools that I use on myself and my clients. And all this soft tissue work is essentially like a deep tissue massage. What you're doing is finding these little lumps in the muscle, this lactic acid that's built up, and you're breaking it down. Think of finding that ice cube and melting it away. And as you break this down, it's going to increase activation within the muscle. They're going to train that day. So along those same lines, we're talking about stretching as your prehabilitation. Some people come in the gym and they do tons of stretching to where they get too loose, like a ballerina type stretching routine. Or on the flip side, they don't do any stretching at all, or there's a lot of haters and naysayers on static stretching, and I'm not one of them. Static stretching is very crucial. It's a very important part of my training. It's a very important part of the Mind Muscle Academy. And static stretching gets you in tune with your body. It sees where the imbalances are. It sees if there's an injury that's not quite healed yet. It lets your body know. It's sending you warning signals so you don't come in and do something stupid with some ego lifting. So get in tune with your body, do the static stretches, get your hips opened up, get your thighs opened up, and get everything ready. What you do want to do after you're finished with your static stretching is doing some dynamic warm-ups. Make sure that your hips are hot, make sure these muscles are warm, make sure they're fired up so you're not too flexible when you get into the bottom of the squat. So make sure you're primed and ready for action. Next thing to think about here is mobility. There's going to be some keyboard warrior that probably hates on this, saying that I'm not using the exact term in the right way that it should, but there's thousands of books written on mobility, and a lot of them are very good. I've read many books on this. I'm interested in the topic, and it's very exciting. But you can also, once again, think about this in so many different ways and overcomplicate it and over-dissect it. Keep it simple, guys. Think about what is the range of motion that you need to execute that day. Are all the muscles pain-free? And are you moving through a smooth, clean, full range of motion? That's how I look at mobility. And just basically make sure that you're hot. Everything is in place. All the muscle activation is equal on both sides. If I'm not feeling that, I might do some one-legged work or some unilateral upper body work to make sure that both sides are working evenly and symmetrical. I'm going to progress and get into some heavy iron, get the bar on my back, and start moving some serious weight. Now, along those same lines, guys, think about technique. Technique is a really underrated aspect of prehab because that's the most important factor in staying healthy long term. It doesn't matter if you're badass this week or this year, how are you going to be badass for the next decade, the next 2 or 3 decades, and technique is key. So spend your time doing your warm-up sets. On these warm-up sets, make sure you're feeling everything work properly. You're feeling all that knowledge from your prehab. So if I'm training chest, for example, I'm going to make sure the opposite muscle is pumped and stretched. Make sure my lats and my rhomboids and the rear delts are all pumped and engaged, so I'm getting the maximum contractions and maximum activation in my pecs. Or if I'm squatting, for example, I'm going to make sure that the front of the hips is stretched out. And it's called altered reciprocal inhibition. What you're doing here essentially is stretching the opposing muscle to increase activation. Make sure your technique is right. You're feeling this muscle really work. You're going to make the gains that you're looking for. For more articles, videos, and tips, head over to justinwoltering.com. I'll see you there.